Hello everyone, and thanks for stopping by to Scrap and Craft with Terry. Today we're going to make a multi-pocket fold out, and it's a pretty easy little project, so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to do like a fall-y theme, so we're going to go ahead and get started. If you like my video, I just ask that you give me a thumbs up and check out my other ones. So I'm starting with a piece of paper that is, let me see. It is about 8 inches by 12. 8 inches by 12 inches. So I cut it off of a 12-inch piece of scrapbook paper. It was single-sided, so I just did some of this all over the back just to cover it up. I'm not sure if this will be my top. That's kind of colored in a little bit more than the other part, but well, I don't know. We'll see. Don't think it really matters. So I'm going to get out my scoreboard and got a mess going on over here. All right, I'm going to score on the 12-inch side. Hang on a second. Sorry, I think I bumped my phone. I thought I messed it up. We're going to score on the 12-inch side, and we're going to score at 4 inches and 8 inches. And then we're going to turn it this way, and we're going to score at 3 inches. And that's all we're going to do with that. So we can get rid of this. Now I just want to fold up my paper, fold on my score lines. Open these out a little bit and burnish them down some. Then I just want to fold my pocket up, and I want to measure like about a ½ an inch up from the top of my pocket. I'm going to turn this sideways, so you're really not going to be able to see the whole thing, but I'll try to move it around. So I'm just going to make a little line, a little mark, a little mark there, a little mark here, and just kind of draw a line across there. Okay, now on this side, we're going to cut this off, and we're going to cut this off. We need this as our closure. So we're going to cut, let me ink this so you can see it. You probably can't see my pencil line, but I use my scissors and cut on this line, you know, and hopefully cut it straight. And then I'm going to cut to the inside of my score line just to give it a little bit of leeway for my pockets, or not my pockets, my flap to go down. Then I'm going to go just on the inside of this one, just so my flap can go down smoothly. I'm going to cut just to that little pencil mark. Then I'm going to cut this one off. Now I'm taping this just a little early, so hopefully everyone has a good weekend. You can put these aside and use them for something. And then this would fold down even with our top line. And I didn't cut that line very straight. So let me just trim it again. There we go. I think that's better. Now, for our pockets, we're going to cut along in here. Let me ink them just a little bit, just so we can see them. And this will let our pockets lay down flat and won't bind when it's closing, when the little flip thingy's closing. So I'm just going to cut on each side of my score line, just up to where I scored at. And on this side, okay. Now when our pockets fold up, that one I didn't cut. Cut that at a little bit of an angle. That's better. And I didn't cut this one at any better angle. I think that'll be okay now. So then I'll just, the ink doesn't show up a whole lot on this paper, but I ink it just a little bit. And then I can just ink here to cover up some of this white between the pockets. Well, while I'm doing that, I might as well just ink this. And I might as well just ink this. And we all know I don't like to ink a lot when I'm filming, but we're going to ink just a little bit. We'll just ink this. So what's everyone been up to today? It's really nice outside. And kind of cool. That's what fall is, cooler weather. Really nice. Okay, now I want to round my corners a little bit. What do I want to use? Let's see if this little one will do it. I'll round them just a little bit. I don't know, I rarely ever used this little one, But now all of a sudden lately, for some stuff, I'm going after the little one instead of the bigger one. Don't ask me why, because I just don't have a clue. Maybe it was time just for a little change. I don't know. It's like you get in a habit of doing something and you just automatically do it. All right, so that just cuts the sharpness of the corner off. So now we can glue our pockets up. No, we can't, because I have to do thumb notches. See, I almost forgot. There's one. So this will just be a nice little pocket thing that you can put in your journal. And then if you want to write something down, you can take it out and make little notes. I thought I inked these. Maybe I didn't ink them very dark. There we go. Now we can glue our pockets. So I'm only going to glue on the the two sides. Oops. Now you can make this, if you don't have 12-inch paper, you could make it out of just the letter size. It would just be a little bit narrower, just a little narrower this way, and that would be just fine also. If you have double-sided paper, then you wouldn't have to do anything to the inside because it would already have a design. But mine are just single-sided. I don't very often have bigger pieces that are double-sided. Once in a while I have some smaller ones. Okay, let's see which is the best way that this closes. This way is the best way, and then this will fold down over it, and it'll just be a nice little compact pocket. Not pocket. A nice little compact, I don't know if you want to call it a booklet or what you would call it, but nice to go in your pocket anyway. Now I don't even know what I'm talking about, right? I'll just ink a little bit of this, just so our outsides are inked a little bit. Okay. Now inside, I want to decorate my pockets up a little bit, but I thought about making little pockets down here on the bottom of my pockets, and that would just give us space for like some little tiny tags. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these, and let me see how long I cut them. I actually didn't measure them, I just cut them. So I cut them at about 3 7/8, and they are 1.5 inches wide this way. So I thought just a little narrow pocket at the bottom. And there's a lot of orange going on here. My paper trimmer starting. Now it's not doing it on all papers, it's just certain papers is kind of ragging some of it out. So I'm thinking right now that it's whatever the paper is that I'm cutting. All right, so I'm just gonna glue these down 3 sides. I don't think I'm gonna cut the thumb notch in. I think I'm just gonna leave these flat. So 3 sides. Doesn't matter which I do, which the top or the bottom, because it's not directional. And I'm just going to leave a little border around. Hopefully a straight border. Ooh, that's a lot of glue. Hopefully I'm getting them lined up at the bottom. Wow, I wonder what's up with my art glitter glue. Okay, so we'll call that about good. Okay, now, because I wanted to break this color up a little bit, I decided that I would take these little green strips and put them across each pocket because like I say, it's a lot of orange going on in there. So I thought it would just be nice just to barely break it up. Okay. So I'm just going to glue them down. I thought about lace, and then I just didn't want to do lace. And they're in the fall. They're still green out. We still have green. Should have had that pulled over just a little bit more. We still have green. Well, now I cut that one way short. I'll put that one over here. I guess I better mark this one, and this one looks like it's wider at this end. Definitely looks a little wider. And I cut it on my paper cutter, my trimmer. Okay. It's odd when this glue drips out of this bottle. It generally doesn't do that. Then for a little bit of decoration on there, I have a flower punch that cut these out, and I thought I would just put these on here. And make sure I'm on the camera where I belong. So I'm going to glue these down. And this is a cardstock, but the color on this side is a gold. And on this side is a brown. It's almost too thick for my flower punch. Got the flower punch that cuts this I also got at the yard sale, where I had got all of the craft stuff out. Okay, and then on top of these, each of these, I'm going to put a green gem. I'm going to put my pin in this while I'm using my Fabri-Tac so it'll quit overflowing. So then in the center of each one of these, I'm just going to put some Fabri-Tac. Now you don't have to do all of this stuff if you don't want to. You can decorate it any way that you want to. I just thought that gave the pockets a little something extra. Kind of dressed them up a little bit and toned the orange down. go. Let's see what that looks like. I think that looks good. Okay. Yep, I think that looks good. Now in our little pockets, I have these little cutouts for fall. And I thought they could just sit in the little pockets, you know, and then if there's somewhere in your journal that you want to use them. I made sure there was a scarecrow in each one. This says Colors of Fall. This one says Happy Fall. And I made sure for the scarecrows because I love scarecrows. And this one says Autumn Blessings. So that just sits down in there with the little scarecrow guy. And then I have these. These are just printables. And I used the same paper or the same flower punch just to make my toppers on my tags because I couldn't figure out what kind of tag I wanted or topper I wanted on the tags. So all I did was inked the back of it because it was just white. So, oops. So I figured if it's, you know, when it stuck up on the back and it wouldn't just show white, even though the back of the paper is white. And then I just stuck that over the little circle that was there. Kind of evened this up as much as possible. Made sure I didn't have any glue on the back. And then I just glued the little gold gem down. I love these little flat gems. Got them at the Dollar Tree long time ago, and I haven't really seen any of these either. But I have to stay on the lookout because I don't have too many of them left. So that's all I did for the top of my tags. So then we can stick our tags in. So 2 in each pocket. And oh, I never thought about them being too tall. So I'm going to have to trim them down. Now, how do you like that? I was going right along and I got to trim my tags down. Be right back. Okay, so since I had to cut most of my little tags away, I didn't want to waste all of them. I was going to put 2 tags in each pocket. So I decided I would just do a journal page to go in each one. And I just used my little flower stamp with some orange. Hopefully I'm up on the camera. And I decided on the corner that I put it on, because this paper's kind of see-through, I would just go back over that same corner. So that's what I did. So instead of having 2 tags in each pocket, we're going to have a little journal paper, journal card, whatever you want to call it. I inked around the outside of each one. So we'll put each one in the pocket with our little tags. If it wouldn't have been for the little closure flap, it wouldn't have mattered. But since how we're putting a little flap on it, it matters. Okay, so there's the inside, and I think that's kind of festive and cute. What do you think? So I think it closes this way. And then this would close down this way. And because of our little gems, it's kind of lumpy and bumpy in there. So on the front of it, I'm going to see if this is my front. This is what I was wanting to do on the front. I thought about putting this. Let me close it back up. I thought about this with just this. I cut out of something, and I thought I would just put it down here to kind of break up that orange a little bit. So I think I'll still be able to put that on there. And with this closed, it'll cover some of it up, but when you open it, you'll still be able to see it. So I think that'll work okay. So I want to put this down first. I really don't know what this is supposed to be. So this is what I'm going to use it for. Okay, before now my glue was flowing out of there. Now it doesn't want to come out. Okay. I'm going to set this back on here. And I just want this to come under here. Something like that. I think just to break that up a little bit. I've been waiting for a project that I could use this one on because I just think it's so pretty. And we're going to set that down right about there. So I think that's pretty. Yes, yes, I do. Then, for my closure, so I'm not going to be able to put a word up here because this is too big. So I might just have to cover this little flower up and put this down here, and it says live in the moment. So I'm going to do that because I want to put this on there. And I don't want to put it up there because then it's completely hidden. So we'll just put it down there. Now this was, sure that's what it was, that little white flower. But anyway, it has an orange, yellow center, but unfortunately a daisy. Unfortunately, I had to poke my hole in it for my brad because that's going to be my closure. So you know what? I think I put that on the wrong side, and it doesn't really matter. I'm going to draw a little mark in there for where I want my hole for my brad. And I can just poke a little hole. Then I put this on the back of some of that cardstock that I used for them cutout flowers. So I'm just going to put this through there. Pretty bad when you know it's a daisy and you can't even say it, huh? And then we're going to put this through there. Now if you want this covered over, you can cover that over. I might later on, but I'm not going to right now for the video. We'll just keep moving along. I have to push that down a little bit more. Okay. Then I'm going to use this embroidery floss for my closure. So I'm just going to tie around here. Oh, maybe I should go under the flower. Maybe I should do that. So we'll tie under there. And I'm just leaving all 6 strands of the embroidery floss. If you haven't used embroidery floss, it most always comes in 6 strands. And then I'm going to just clip this off. And we're just going to wrap around. And I'm not going to wrap more than 2 times because like it's just a little thing that doesn't need a lot of wraps. So that's all I'm going to do because that'll hold it together. And then I'll just cut it off down here. And if you want to add something to it, you can. So let me close this up before it dries out. So then all we do is open this up. And live in the moment. And then we have our tags and our journal cards to journal on. And then we also have our little tiny tags down here that we can write little notes or anything on that we want. And then we have one in each pocket. So that makes 6 pockets all together. So that's a pretty good little journal insert for your journal or your folio or your scrapbook or whatever you want to put it in. Put it in your purse or your bag to keep little notes in. Cool, huh? So if you like my video, I just ask that you give me a thumbs up and check out my other ones. And I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. Thanks for stopping by. Have a nice day. Thank you. Bye.